In today's video, I'm going to break down why the US dollar has collapsed 99% since 1913 and how cryptocurrency, blockchain, distributed ledger technology is playing a huge part in the transition into a brand new monetary system. As the dollar loses its value, something radical is transforming as we know it. My name is Coach JB. What I work to do is make very complex macro and microeconomic strategy very simple so the normal everyday person can implement them. I've been researching this stuff for over 7 years to really understand how I can protect my family, my wealth, and transfer the wealth to the new 1%. So, what I've done is I've created resources for people down the description of my video. A lot of people ask how I insure my wealth. That's something I talk about all the time. I pull from the left side of the risk pyramid, high risk, high return. I insure my wealth and my family. So click the description down below. You can fill out a needs assessment. The proper team member will reach out to you. Or in my bio, click the link. You can fill out a needs assessment. So let's dive right into this. Now, this is, I've decided to kind of frame my content a little bit differently. So while you're watching this, I'm actually in Peru on a spiritual journey. But I wanted to start to really improve my content. So that's one of my goals as I come back from Peru is to we have the Good Morning Crypto show. They do an awesome job at reporting the news. What I'm going to work to do a couple videos per week is take you into the mind mapping. I call it mind mapping. So what I do is I spend all my days researching spirituality, macro and microeconomics. I'm absolutely obsessed with studying history to predict patterns. Okay. So this is how my brain works. It works in logical circuits. So what I love about the advent of technology, some of the AIs, things like that, what I'm able to do is to take my research and I'm able to put it into some of these technologies and mind map this out, right? Because I like to look at it from a 30,000 foot overview, and that's how I make my financial decisions. It's not based on emotion from a YouTuber saying that a cryptocurrency is going to go parabolic or this person saying that this is correct. I build my own strategies based on what feels safe for me. That's why I'm open and honest on exactly what I do. What I share with you, exactly what I do. There's no bullshit. I tell you exactly my portfolio, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, but it doesn't mean you have to do that. What I'm asking you to do is to ask yourself, why do you believe what you believe? Once you understand why you believe what you believe, you ask yourself, do you want something different for your life? And from there, you have to rewire the foundation. We were born in a deep rooted indoctrination system that got us to trade time for money. So this is called a mind map. And this is what I do with my research. I mind map it out and I go all the way back to the facts, figures, numbers, logic. So what we're going to do today is get a pen and paper out. This is going to be a longer video. This is basically breaking down the decline of the US dollar value since 1913 to present. I think it's important. We understand cryptocurrencies here. Everybody's saying this or that, but I think it's important to look at history and see what's actually happened, right? So then we can make better decisions on where do we think our money should be for the future. Okay. So this is the mind map of the decline of the US dollar value since 1913. So our introduction of this video, what I want to share with you guys is significant decline in value since 1913. We've lost approximately 99% of our purchasing power since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. This is attributed to historical events, economic policies, and financial innovations, which we're heavily into now. The establishment first is the Federal Reserve in 1913. Okay. So the Federal Reserve was created to create a safer, more flexible, stable monetary system. Let me read that again. They were created to make a safer, more flexible, stable monetary system. Okay. The dollar initially was tied to gold. This is very important for you to mind map out. Okay. Significant changes in monetary policy. Okay. So at this point in 1913, the Federal Reserve was created on Jekyll Island, on an island with a bunch of bankers, and they created a bank of banks. Okay. They're not attached to the government. It's a third party that controls the money supply and job markets. Okay. But it was created to create a safer, more flexible, stable monetary system. So the question I have for you is, since 1913, if the dollar's collapsed 99%, do you feel like you're in a safer, more stable monetary system? What we did is, we're in 2024, 100 years later, we caught the can, we caught the ball. So now here we are, and we have to start to make some decisions on what we're going to do. Okay. Then the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. Then we hit the Great Depression in 1929. Okay. There was severe economic downturn. There was the abandonment of gold standard in 1933. Okay. So there's abandonment in 1933. Then we're going to talk about 1971, where they took us off the gold standard. Okay. They increased in money supply and long-term inflation devaluation. Okay. So 1929 was a pivotal time. So there was a 10-year run here where there was a severe economic downturn, right? We're in that type of environment right now. There was abandonment of the gold standard in 1933. Okay. Increase in money supply and long-term inflation and devaluation. What are we in right now? They cut off the money supply in 2022. we're now in inflation and devaluation of our currency. Okay. Now there's a very different thing, which I'm going to talk about on the back end, which includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the BRICS. Okay. So then we went into post World War II and the Bretton Woods system. Okay. The dollar as a primary reserve currency was pegged to gold. Okay. So we abandoned the gold standard in 1933 after the Great Depression. Then we went into World War II. I want to pause for just a moment and share with you how eerily familiar this is. Okay. So we had a severe economic downturn in the Great Depression. They had increased they increased the money supply, long-term inflation, and devaluation. We just went through that. We're on the looming World War III. So then they went into World War II. And after World War, you have innovation, technology. And after World War II, okay, they had a stable international monetary framework, okay, which was the Bretton Woods system, which took the dollar and pegged it to gold. Very key, which made America the now dominant force in the world. Okay. Overvalued dollar strains on Bretton Woods system. So, and then the end of the gold standard in 1971. So what they did is in 1971, they went on a regular program show, President Nixon, and he suspended the dollar to the convertibility of gold, which, write this down, made your money fake, made it fiat money. So it has no value to it other than your belief system in it. So then you had the floating dollar increase volatility, significantly depreciating it. Period of high inflation in the 1970s. Are you seeing a trend here? We're now in high inflation. Jerome Powell's trying to comment by raising interest rates. The problem is, though, in America right now, we're a debt-based society 100%. We've been a fake currency since 1971, okay? Then we went into the 1970s. We had the oil crisis, the geopolitical tensions, OPEC's oil embargo, skyrocketing oil prices, severe inflation. Are you seeing a trend here? Okay, Federal Reserve, aggressive monetary policies, and economic recession. What are we facing right now? Aggressive economic. First, they turned the printing machine on full blast, 2020, 2022. They shut off the money supply. What did that do? It created the bond yield inversion, which sucked the liquidity out of the regional banks. You got to pay attention to this stuff, guys. Okay, but there's a different part that I'm going to share at the end. They didn't have cryptocurrency coming in. They didn't have a new financial system. It hadn't been a 100-year trend. We're in a 100-year transition. Okay, so Federal Reserve's aggressive monetary policies in the 1970s. Okay, and I didn't put in here. Sorry, I didn't put the 1974. We went into what's called the petrodollar. Maybe did I put it in here? Nope. So yeah, I didn't put that in there. So 1974, we went into what's called the petrodollar. So we detached from the gold standard in 1971. And then we went into the petrodollar in 1974, which made America the dominant currency because all oil would be traded in US dollars. Okay. Now, what we're experiencing now is them de-dollarizing. So really important. Okay. Then we had Reaganomics and the deficit spending in 1980s. There was tax cuts, increased military spending, deregulation, large budget deficits, growing national debt. Sounds familiar, right? Everything is a pattern, guys. Everything is a wave of energy. Everything is a pattern. The difference is this wave of energy and pattern we're in, we're moving from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, industrial to technical, old archaic banking system to a new banking system. So what we're going through is going to be our new financial system for the next 100 years. This video will age very, very well, I promise you. The 2008, so we had 1980, Reaganomics. Now they're calling it Bidenomics. That's funny. All right. 2008 financial crisis. Okay. So we went into that. So collapsing of the housing market, failed financial institutions, Federal Reserve, unprecedented measures. Okay. Lower interest rates, quantitative easing, and increased money supply, long-term inflation. So this is where it got really ugly. Another thing that happened in 2009 was BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa were created. The BRICS nations have been working to de-dollarize. Okay. Now, another thing that happened in 2009, Bitcoin's inception was created. Think about that. After one of the biggest financial collapses in our history, lower interest rates, quantitative easing, increased money supply, long-term inflation, Bitcoin's inception was created. Satoshi Nakamoto, some pseudonymous person, created Bitcoin. Then we were cruising along with low interest rates, quantitative easing, money supply. Money was completely free. Then we hit 2020. Boom. Global economic crisis, massive fiscal and monetary stimulus. Let me pause for just a moment. 2012 was a critical year as well. So we had the FOMC that was created, Future Oversight Committee, non-bank financial institutions. The Bank Bailing Committee was created, which was activated last year. Isn't that interesting? Jay Clayton sits on the board for the Bank Bailing Committee. The FOMC, Gary Gensler was part of creation of that. You had Rosie Rios, the 43rd Treasury of the United States, who was told to reduce coin and cash usage in 2012, but she couldn't because of GDP growth, because Obama turned the printing machine on full blast with the rescue plan. Okay. Then we cruised into 2020. Then we had a global economic crisis, massive fiscal and monetary stimulus, trillions of dollars injected into the economy, and increased money supply exasperated inflationary pressures. So everybody's like, no, the dollar's not cheap. Guys, where are they going to go from here? I'm going to explain where I think they're going to go from here, right? I'm just looking at it and saying, okay, we went from 1913 to 2024. The dollar has lost 99% of its value. My parents bought their house in 1973 for 25,000. It's now worth 400,000. That is a decrease in your buying power. Our income hasn't gone up that much, and now as we sit right now, the average American needs to make $145,000 to $150,000 a year to be middle class. Then we had the rise of cryptocurrencies 2009 to present. Okay. So, what was this? What is the rise of cryptocurrencies? Is it just a new technology? Is it a speculative asset? Or is it the response to the dollar's decline and instability of the traditional system? Comment down below. What do you think? Is it the response to dollar's decline, or is it because of the traditional system is broken? But we can't move into a new system with the old archaic banking system. Introduction to Bitcoin, decentralized money, and a deflationary alternative. This is why cryptocurrency is rising up. Is it by chance that in 2009, Bitcoin's inception, right after the biggest financial collapse, they're like, wait a minute. And the other countries are like, America's been dominating us since the World War II. They've manipulated our currencies every single time they weaponize us with their interest rates. And then BRICS was like, wait, we're done with this. So from 2009, specifically in 2023, they really got serious. And they have like 15 new nations joining. They're working to trade oil outside of US dollars. America's at 120% debt to income ratio. We have more debt than we have income. We have really bad policies right now. Biden wants to raise tax on unrealized and realized gains 45% to the rich, which is going to affect the middle class. Okay, so we had a massive increase in money supply. This is where it really jacked up our currency. So from 2020 to 2022, we printed more money than in history. There was more money printed than all that was spent in World War II for 10 years. Then they shut off the money supply and they just let it collapse. And what that money supply did is it created hyperinflation. So we have an overvalued stock market. We have an overvalued crypto market. Everything is overvalued right now, guys. And if they lower interest rates in September, your houses are going to go through the roof, make it completely unaffordable for the normal everyday person to own a home. So the rise of cryptocurrencies was in response to dollar's decline and instability traditional financial systems. The introduction of Bitcoin was a decentralized and deflationary alternative. Why do you think BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, calls it a flight to quality now? 80% of the supply has not moved. It's risk on, risk off asset. Okay. They can't print more of it. And every time somebody buys it, it becomes more valuable. Think about that. It's a hedge against inflation and currency devaluation. That's why many of these countries like El Salvador, what was the other one? Like they're making it they're buying every single week. So the conclusion of this. So I want to start to get you guys more into my mind mapping and how I do my research. The conclusion of this is a decline traced through historical events and economic policies, right? That's going to happen over and over again. There's going to be a wave of energy. We're going to have probably World War III, innovation and technology. I think we're going to be on an even playing field in a monetary system, that there'll be a bag of currencies that regulates all the monetary system. And it's basically going to be who's the best. I mean, now with decentralization, supply chain, we have access to the free markets now, guys. They know that. So they're going to have to switch this. But I think they're really going to still work to try to get it through a centralized party. The abandonment of the gold standard, expansive monetary policy, that caused the massive deflation in the dollar. And I don't know how they're going to fix that, guys. I would love to hear your opinion down below. The emergence of cryptocurrencies is a potential solution. I think it is the solution. I think it's the only solution. I think money has to move at the speed of light. Think about that. Millionaire now is not a lot of money, guys. Millionaire is not a lot of money now. Multi-millionaire is a new millionaire. Multi-millionaire is a new billionaire, and billionaire is a new trillionaire. They printed trillions of dollars, okay? And the future of the dollar as its global role, okay? So let's think about this for just a moment. The dollar has collapsed 90. Let's take our, completely non-emotional lens off, okay? Cryptocurrency, tribalism, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all that stuff. Taking out the advent of us trying to get rich in crypto or going through this process, what do you think, honestly, is going to happen. How do you think, honestly, they can fix this system? Okay. You have all the countries working to de-dollarize. America's at 120% debt to income ratio. We have to borrow to pay for critical services. Your taxes go to pay the interest on the debt. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? That's why the largest asset manager in the world, Fidelity, BlackRock, that's why MicroStrategies is stacking cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, excuse me. That's why Tesla is stacking Bitcoin. That's why BlackRock and Fidelity, the largest asset managers in the world, have access to MicroStrategies. Think about this, guys. So that's the facts, figures, numbers. That's why I've diversified into some of my assets into cryptocurrency. But also, there's the other side of this. We're still in a very volatile, unregulated environment where, yeah, it's going to go up and it's going to come down really, really hard until this gets normalized. But it's also a wonderful opportunity for us to get a large amount of money in a short amount of time because of the volatility. Because you have the risk pyramid on the left side. The more risky it is, the higher volatility, the higher amount of potential gain. But also, Wall Street wins 90, 100% of the time. We all try to rush in at the top. When it hits the news, it's too late, guys. So we have to have an exit plan. So I believe cryptocurrency, blockchain, distributed ledger technology is the future. And that's why, because of my research, not because somebody said it is, because I'm going deep into it on a daily basis to really understand how this works, what it looks like, and what's happened in historical patterns. So what I do is I pull from the left side of the risk pyramid. I use my own exit strategy app, Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. You can get it 30 days for free down below. I'm the co-founder and creator of it. It's an interface. I pull profits on the way up. I pull it down. I insure my money. My family and my money are always insured. I invest more into companies. Silver, gold is my Bitcoin is my gold, and we're going into real estate. I wish I would have gotten a lot earlier, but I'm maturing in my investment strategy. I want real estate, precious metals, businesses, cryptocurrency, and move into new innovative technologies and create that cycle over and over again. I don't know if that'll work for you, but it's worked for me, and I'm sticking to my plan. And this is how I do it. I'm an intelligent investor by reading the book Intelligent Investor. I invest in companies. I don't invest in stocks or cryptos. I really look to see what is the wave of energy and what happened in history. Read Ray Dalio's Changing World Order. It'll change your life, guys. This is just a wave of energy. You're not going to stop the wave of energy, but you can ride the wave and radically transform your family's life and free them for the rest of your life. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go. Love you guys.